Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to talk about California, a state that continues to go downhill as many people flee and never look back. Even people who live in small towns there, conservatives who live there, they're still affected by the legislation that have been brought in by woke politicians in big cities. It's affecting their schools, it's affecting their parental rights, it's affecting their businesses. So many people have had enough. One of the main reasons people are leaving is the crime. And you would think Gavin Newsom would be more concerned about that than worrying about interfering in the relationship between parents and children. Gavin Newsom has signed a new bill that's only going to make more people want to homeschool or just leave California altogether.
Developing news on the controversial bill signed by Governor Gavin Newsom, Assembly Bill 1955. The bill prohibits California school districts from notifying parents about a student's desire to change sexual orientation or gender identity. The bill's author wants to prevent students from being, quote, forcibly outed. Well, now a lawsuit has been filed challenging the newly enacted legislation. Joining me now is Assemblymember Corey Jackson. He's a Democrat from Moreno Valley. He's a co-author of the bill and a member of the LGBTQ caucus. Assemblymember Jackson, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Before I get to you, I want to get to the lawsuit that was filed on behalf of the Liberty Justice Center on behalf of the Chino Valley Unified School District. They put out a statement challenging AB 95, saying this: school officials do not have the right to keep secrets from parents, but parents do have a constitutional right to know what their minor children are doing at school. Parents are the legal guardians of their children, not Governor Newsom, Attorney General Bonta, or Superintendent Thurmond.
And this is the issue. It seems like they want to give more power to teachers, more power to schools, like they want the schools to raise the kids these days. And the parents don't even get informed. Why do they always seem to be implementing policies that cause more and more division between parent and child, that encourages kids to keep secrets from their parents, that ensures that parents are kept in the dark about something very important, about their kids' health, about their kids' mental state? It's as if they want to take over being the main influence in the lives of children. It's very, very disturbing. And this does nothing to inspire trust in our public school system. Parents are going to become more suspicious, more wary about sending their kids to school, not knowing what their kids are going to be learning half the time. What ideologies are they going to be exposed to? Not only do they have to worry about what ideologies their kids are going to pick up, what indoctrinations they're going to pick up, or how many genders they're going to learn about that day, they've now got to worry about the kids keeping secrets from them and being encouraged to do so. You can tell me, the teacher, and your parents never have to know. They don't have to know if you're confused about your gender. They don't have to know if you're a girl, but now you think you're a boy, or you've got a new name. You can just call you that name in school. Absolutely disturbing. I don't see how any parent could be okay with this, unless you're happy with the school raising your kid. And one person to feel very strongly about this is Elon Musk. He feels so strongly about it, he's decided to move part of his empire out of California, and he's now moving to Texas. And there was a back and forth exchange on X between Gavin Newsom and Elon Musk. Now, you would think Gavin Newsom has enough on his plate, dealing with the homelessness, the crime, the drugs, the human feces.
This is a map of San Francisco. There's a lot of plots on that. You may be asking, what is that plotting? Well, this is an app where they plot the human feces that are found on the streets of San Francisco. And you see how almost the whole thing is covered, because that is what has happened in one of the previous greatest cities this country's ever had. Human feces is now a fact of life, except when a communist dictator comes to town. Then they cleaned up the streets. They lined the streets with Chinese flags. They didn't put American flags there. They cleaned everything up. So they're willing to do it for a communist dictator, but they're not willing to do it for their own people.
But no. He's got time to go back and forth on social media, getting into beef, because you're butthurt that Elon Musk is taking his empire elsewhere. So Elon Musk and California Governor Gavin Newsom escalated their war of words after the billionaire said his companies SpaceX and X would leave the state over its passage of a controversial student gender identity law. Musk described the law which blocks school districts from requiring teachers to notify parents about changes in a student's gender identity or sexual orientation without the child's permission as the final straw, and said both companies would relocate to Texas. Businesses are fleeing California because they can't even operate with the amount of crime in some of these cities. Places like Oakland is out of control. It's really sad because it's the local people who are going to suffer. It's the people who are relying on these companies for jobs who are going to suffer. And now SpaceX and X are leaving. After the announcement, Newsom shared a screenshot on X of a 2022 Truth Social post by former President Donald Trump. Now, if you've ever heard Gavin Newsom speak and do interviews, this guy knows how to gaslight. This guy knows how to bend the truth. I mean, he's a smooth talker. He really is. So here we go now, him trying to create even more division because he can't handle the fact that SpaceX and X is leaving because of you, Gavin Newsom. So this is the Truth Social post. Basically, Trump is saying that Elon Musk came to him practically begging for him to help him with subsidies and things of that nature for his business ventures. And at the end, he said, I could have said, drop to your knees and beg, and he would have done it. And Elon's response, you never get off your knees. Whoa. Oh dear. Aside from its restrictions on parent notification, the Newsom-backed law directs California's Department of Education to create resources for families of LGBTQ+ students from 7th grade through to high school. Musk and other critics argue the law is too invasive and undercuts the rights of parents. And at this stage, we can come to no other conclusion that is exactly what they want to do. They want to undercut the rights of parents, undermine the authority that parents have in making decisions that they believe is right for their children. They want to undermine that, and they want to give it to the school. They want to give it to the teachers. At this point, the teachers are going to know more about your kid than you are. So the support for LGBTQ children and their families, that's what they're going to push. If you criticize this bill because you think it undermines parental rights, they're going to say, oh, you don't want LGBTQ kids to have resources. You don't want them to receive help. That's how they're going to gaslight you when you object to this bill. Supporters of the bill, which takes effect in January, would provide necessary protection for transgender students from parents who live in disapproving households, i.e., traditional households, Christian households, conservative households, households that know what a woman is, households that believe there are only two genders. This is the final straw, Musk wrote on X, after Newsom signed the bill. Because of this law and many others that preceded it, attacking both families and companies, SpaceX will now move its HQ from Hawthorne, California, to Starbase, Texas. Musk added that he made it clear to Governor Newsom about a year ago that laws of this nature would force families and companies to leave California to protect their children. And Elon Musk, I think he has 10 kids. One of his kids identifies as trans, and sounds like there's a lot of division there. So you can imagine he has a vested interest to ensure that he lives in a state that doesn't encourage division within families. So it looks like they're moving to Austin, Texas as well. Have had enough of dodging gangs of violent drug addicts just to get in and out of the building, Musk said. And a lot of people are saying the same thing. And that's why they're fleeing California. And people can't operate their businesses there. It's unsustainable.
We're back with this horrifying video highlighting the surging crime in California. Watch as a massive mob of thieves robs an Oakland gas station, stealing everything they can get their hands on and causing at least $100,000 in damages. The owner says the lack of law and order is worse than a third world country he came from. Sam Marde joins us now. Sam, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so sorry this happened to you, but I really appreciate you speaking out. Tell us what happened.
Well, it was a sideshow on the street next to us and turned out to be a disaster after. Once they were done with the show, they turned back to our gas stations, just ransacked it.
You know, you're originally from Yemen, and that's a country we report on that has a lot of turmoil going on in it. You called it a third world country, but you said even there, this type of lack of law and order doesn't exist.
No, never. I mean, I seen things that happens there, but it gets to a point where, I mean, you're coming to the States where, you know, law and order actually was everybody. I mean, my parents, my aunts, my uncles were talking about the U.S. is where the place to be, you know, and then you turn out to this and see something like this happens, and it's scary, you know. It's just, it shouldn't be happening. Should have been happening in a city, in a bigger city like this, inside California. It's just unbelievable.
And obviously, Musk can afford as much security as he needs. But what about the small business owner? What about the gas station owner? And he said the police didn't even come for hours. And I think for many people, this will be the final straw. That, or they start homeschooling.
I want to get your response to that, sir, and also answer the question of how is that not government overreach?
Well, honestly, forcing teachers to do anything besides teaching and to get in the way of parents' relationship with their children is actually government overreach. And so that statement you read is really a political statement. It's not a statement that is grounded in reality, unfortunately.
Well, I have the bill in front of me. It's 4 pages long. It is officially titled the Support Academic Futures and Educators for Today's Youth Act. In it, it says, choosing when to come out by disclosing an LGBTQ plus identity and to whom are deeply personal decisions. Noting that the most personal relationship that a child has is with their parents. That's what critics of this bill are saying. Your response?
He said that teachers shouldn't be required to do anything other than teach. But that's where this whole problem stems from. Teachers are going beyond just simply teaching and teaching their subject. They're now indoctrinating. They're not just teaching maths, English, whatever their subject is. And bills like this are only making it worse in causing division between parents and children, in ensuring that parents are kept in the dark about important issues that affect their children. If teachers were just teaching, there would be no problem. If schools were just focusing on teaching, there would be no problem. But they've come away from that, introducing ideologies, trying to change the way these children think. Instead of encouraging them to just think critically and make up their own minds, they're indoctrinating. So no, this bill does anything but encourages teachers to just focus on teaching.
Well, unfortunately, it doesn't cover 100% of students. We know that particularly members of the LGBTQ community knows that we still live in homes where coming out means we will become homeless. Coming out means we may actually be physically harmed. Coming out means we may be alienated. And so what this bill says is we need to protect all children to making sure that they feel safe on their campuses.
Those laws already exist. Those policies already exist. If a teacher suspects that a young person is facing, abuse at home, it's their duty to report it. If you suspect that something like that is going on in the household and that the kid's, life is in danger, well-being is in danger, then you have to address it regardless of whether the kid is so-called LGBT, whatever. So all of this focus on LGBT, it's too much. It's too much. But what this bill is doing is singling out kids that they want to fit into a certain category or who they think fit into a certain category. It's trying to put kids in a box, in their LGBTQ whatever box, and shut out the parents. That's not right. This is not going to instill trust between parents and schools.
Will this be enforced? This is for all schools up and down California. What happens if someone violates it?
Well, obviously, then if it is reported, then we have a mechanism in which the Attorney General or the Department of Education get involved. And they will create a process to be ensure that we comply, that all districts are complying with this law. and so that we can make sure that all students are feeling safe on their campuses.
So the enforcement mechanism necessarily hasn't been worked out yet?
I know the law was just signed recently, right? And so I'm sure the process has to be written out in terms of policy that will actually enact the law. And so looking forward to getting more information from the Attorney General and the State Superintendent.
And this is going to affect teachers who just want to teach. Funny enough, it actually is going to affect those teachers too. There's something that many teachers would regard as their duty to inform the parent of, can now land a teacher in trouble.
So Governor Newsom, to your point, he signed this into law on Monday, and then Tuesday, the day after, yesterday, Elon Musk, he took to X and he called it the final straw. He says that he's moving all of his businesses, SpaceX and Twitter, or X as it's now called, out of California. He's headed to Texas because of this legislation. How concerned are you, Assemblymember Jackson? How concerned is the governor about the millions of dollars that California is losing out of, not to mention the thousands of jobs that he will take with him, that Elon Musk will take with him?
I would just say this, is that our children are worth more than any corporation in California. If Mr. Musk wants to leave one of the most innovative economies in the world, the 5th largest economy in the world, to make a political stance, that's certainly his right to do so. But for us to put a dollar amount or to consider money as opposed to the safety of every single child in our school, to me, there's no comparison.
Yeah, but alienating kids away from their parents is not conducive to protecting their safety. You decide that if the parents have traditional values, then the kid's not going to be safe. And that's not true. That's not true. It's these people taking it upon themselves to decide what they think makes a kid safe or is a threat to the kid. Guarantee you this is going to affect parents who have traditional values, who only believe there's 2 genders. Apparently that's unsafe. They're going to deem that unsafe. There are protocols in place already to protect children who you suspect are dealing with, something at home that can be harmful to them, that could be harmful to their safety and well-being. There are already protocols in place for that. This is targeting parents who are not going along with their ideology, whatever they're pushing on children in those schools. That's what this bill targets. It's designed to cause more division, and that certainly is not in the best interest of the child. It's just the hyperbole again. This bill is not saving lives and protecting children. You're supposed to be doing that anyway. Elon Musk is not doing anything different from the number of business owners who have fled California, and now the government overreach, which is making it even more difficult to raise a family in California. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.